Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. And as you know, man, the Lawnmower 4.0, it is elite in terms of helping you with your personal hygiene and grooming. But more importantly, I like to talk about the Weed Whacker because it takes care of those nostril hairs. And nobody wants nostril hairs, nobody. But that is what Manscaped has. That, and along with plenty other personal hygiene care products to help with your personal grooming and just make sure that you are, in your best fragrance and appearance. All right, when you're in your natural attire. And more importantly, we have a promo code and it is MOATS. You use that, you get your 20% off along with free shipping worldwide at manscaped.com. So stop wasting time. Make sure you, utilize their tools. And trust me when I tell you, your dangly twins and all of their friends will be very appreciative of you. Shout out to Manscaped. But Deke, first thing that I like about this Raiders team is their offensive talent when they are healthy. And right now, Deke, they're kind of getting healthy, man. When you talk about Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, that's a really, really talented group, man. When you talk about the runner in terms of Josh, physical runner, explosive runner, can go 80, can run through you, can run around you. Very, very tough. When you talk about Devontae Adams, arguably one of the best receivers in the league. If you look at his body of work this year versus, or just his total body of work. I mean, this dude is up there.
You could
when
probably
you talk,
put his last
seriously,
4 or 5 years
yeah,
up with anyone right now.
Yeah, he's on that where you talking catches, yards, touchdowns. Like, he's one of them type of dudes, man. Darren Waller, a freaky mismatch at the tight end position, and Hunter Renfrow, just one of them guys that knows how to win in the slot, man. Tough as heck as well. And then Derek Carr, man. Good, a really good quarterback, not a great quarterback in my eyes, but a really good quarterback, a guy that can get streaky hot and can flirt with elite at times, which is why he has this like weird vibe when you think of him. 1 minute you're like, are you really, really good? Or are you just average? But that's why Classman is really good, because I think he falls in that vein more times than not. But the offensive talent, man, like I said, I just really like that a lot in terms of the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I'm with you on Derek Carr. He had me turn the corner on his rankings coming into this year, sneaking him into that top 10. He's probably falling around top 12 or 13. That's where he's been the last like 3 or 4 years, I'd say.
Yep.
So, yeah, really good quarterback, just really solid.
Yeah.
He's got talent. And then, so this is my way of saying I agree with everything you just said right there, because that's one of my likes as well, the talent on offense. Mm-hmm. Josh Jacobs leading the league in rushing yards.
Contract year too, man.
Devontae Adams had a slow start. They weren't really featuring him that much for some reason, but then him and Derek Carr picked up that connection throughout the middle of the season. Although last game, he didn't have his best of games right there. Patriots defense had his number.
Yes and no. I agree, but I don't. Because I look at 2 of them deep bombs, and I'm like, man, that's just a near lucky miss, man. Whew. And that'd be a big difference in that game. In terms of his numbers. Because he ended with, what, 30? I think it was 38 yards. It was nothing crazy. But I'm like, yo, if they actually connect on that, and it's very, like, I thought it was, like I said, I wish they would have went back to it. I'm like, yo, I think you catch that. I think that's a touchdown waiting.
And Darren Waller.
Yeah.
Top 3 tight end in the AFC. If he wasn't hurt, he'd probably be a Pro Bowler. He's been that way for these last, 2 or 3 years. Speaking of that, we talked about Highsmith with the Pro Bowl.
You move over him now, right?
Right now. I mean, right now to make the Pro Bowl. Yeah. Muth definitely has a case.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like top 5 in a ton of these tight end statistics. I think outside of touchdowns.
Yeah.
Everything outside of touchdowns, he's up there, and hopefully he gets in.
And especially AFC-wise, like, absolutely.
Who else I got to mention? Oh, Hunter Renfrow. Yeah, he's a Pro Bowl slot receiver. Him and Waller have just been hurt all year. That's why they haven't had production.
And what was the last game, their first game back?
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
So they got a
we
warm-up
talked
game
about
and
it.
Everything.
Yeah.
I was expecting them not to play. I didn't think as soon as they were activated they would play.
Yep.
But
and both of them had impact. Waller scored a touchdown, had a nice
Yep.
catch in it too. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
100% with you on that. They have really good talent on offense. And even this Mac Hollins dude.
Bro,
they were featuring
seriously.
him last game. He was really good in the special teams, but then he was getting open a lot.
He caught the touchdown, but he low-key became like their X factor because we couldn't, like, they were trying to take away Devontae and then try to take away Waller, and it's like, yo, now this cat is like getting off. Like, what
He
the
looks
heck?
like a streaky type of receiver. Like he's gonna
His
drop
hands
one or
are
two,
iffy though,
but he can get open, and it looks
Yeah.
like Carr likes to go to him.
cause he dropped 2 bombs too. He had to like
Hell,
one. Yeah,
even Keelan Cole was your
say, bro. Yeah,
Keelan Cole was your 4th receiver. That ain't a bad deal.
yeah.
Because Keelan Cole's not bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we both agree then the offensive talent is definitely there. The second thing that I like about this Raiders team are their pass rushers, man. Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. I think at this stage, I don't know. I kind of like Max a little bit better. I think he rushes more violently, but I think Chandler is still the more skilled of the two. But both of those dudes, man, when they truly commit to rushing on a play, when they truly pin their ears back, they are a handful to deal with. And that was also part of the reason why they were able to start just getting a little bit control of the situation, man, when New England started to come back last week, man. You know, it was those two dudes really being able to just collapse the pocket at times. And I ain't gonna lie, man, Mac Jones, I thought he did some nice stuff in that game, bro. Yeah, they definitely need a new coaching system over there. Because I'm like, I don't think it's Mac all the way, bro. I'm watching, I'm like, yo, Mac's all right. I don't think he's... I don't
Can't be that bad.
I don't agree with the take about Mac being better than Josh Allen. I had to say that out there because my father-in-law, that's the take he wanted to give me, so I'm not going to let him live that down, especially this year. But I don't think that he's the reason right now that the situation is like that right now. I don't think it's on him, bro.
Recently about that take?
I plan to talk to him in a day, actually. Yeah. I talked to him last week, and I made sure to reference it. Every time, like I said, when I mention it, I'm just like, hey, just remember, you said this. I didn't. You said that. Yeah. just you on the couch. And I have a witness. His name is Deke. He witnessed it.
He tried to
confirmed
finagle me into that.
He confirmed. And you were about to take it too.
No.
You thought about it.
No.
You thought about it. He walked you into it.
I thought he was talking about
trying to walk you into it. He was trying to walk you into it, man. But I'm gonna just say I don't think it was all the way on Mac. But I do like those pass rushes though, man. In terms of Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, I think that those two dudes, man, can do it at a high level. They still do it at a high level. And yeah, I love guys that can win one-on-ones, man. And that's what those two dudes are. And when they're on, they are on. So yeah, definitely like that about them.
Yeah, I have Max Crosby as well.
Yep.
This dude, 11.5 sacks this year. He's in the prime of his career. I like how you brought up rushes violently because there is a difference between him and Chandler Jones. Now, Chandler Jones, he's up there in age, but
he's a smooth, skilled guy.
You know what? I saw him do like a little double pump fake spin move.
He got
on
the
dude.
Fake spin. He got the
some
double outside hand knockdown.
still.
He got the cross chop. He got the herky jerk. Like he just he playing one-on-one basketball. That's what when I look at Chance, what I think. Just like real chill with it, real chill.
Dude, every time I'm looking up and seeing a Raiders game, though, Max Crosby is around the play, around the quarterback.
Max
disrupting something.
He plays so hard. That's the thing. Like I said, Chandler is just highly skilled. Highly skilled. He just looks like a master craftsman out there. Max just looked like, yo, he ready to wreck something. Like, bro, it don't matter. He's on like just demon time with it. And I ain't gonna lie, I love that contrast. It's beautiful when you watch it at times, man.
What do you got as your 3?
Yeah, so the third thing that I have for my likes for them is just the overall team's physicality. When you talk about the Raiders, oddly enough, when they play well is when they're being physical, when they're able to run the ball. Man, Josh Jacobs, they actually have a better rushing yards per game than we do, slightly, but still enough. And it is because of how they like to run. When they try to be physical with Josh, when they allow, that offensive line specifically to run downhill and be just firing off the ball, I think they're a lot better versus when they're having to sit on their heels and pass block the whole time. And then defensively, when I think of guys like Max Crosby, when I look at guys like Denzel Perryman, these dudes, man, they try to be physical out there. They want to hit you and hit you hard frequently. And, I like that. But I think that's one of the things that helps them out when they're able to be the bully, when they're able to be the physical person or the more physical team. I think that that's something that they've been able to hang their hat on, and that's been partly why they've been able to have some success as well.
My last one kind of goes with that a little bit. Their fight, never give up attitude.
Resilient as heck, bro.
What's funny is I have on my dislikes, basically the opposite of fight.
Yeah.
They got to both. They got a Jekyll and Hyde effect.
They'll fight or
going
they'll turn it up. They'll give it up to you now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's like this choking factor that they've had going for them after these halftimes, but they're still gonna fight to the death.
Yeah.
Like
But and it's weird because they're always like leading too.
Yep, by
like a nice lead where you're like, bro, this team looks legit. I watch them in the first half. I'm like, bro, I think this team could beat anybody in the league. You watch them in the second half, you're like, oh, I think anybody in the league could beat this team. And when you look at their record, it makes sense. It's just like, bro, how do you go from 1 minute your offensive line looks like they can pass block, Carr has all the time in the world. Next minute, it's like, bro, they can't block anybody. Carr's getting killed out there. 1 minute, they're running over everybody. Next minute, they can't get any type of movement up front. 1 minute, they can cover. Next minute, it's just the craziest thing, bro.
Yeah, like a testament to that is them starting off 1-4. I think they ended up getting to like 2-5 or 2-6 as well. Now they're kind of like us though. They're a far cry from the playoffs, but at least they have a chance. But all these games, like recently, have been close with them. Like they're taking some of these games to overtime and whatnot. Just this last game, again, they gave the game up after halftime. Derek Carr literally just throws a pick six on a screen pass.
It looked lazy almost, bro. It was just like, yo, how you just
I'm wondering, like, hey, this is the play call. But isn't there a time or two where you could just pump fake? You don't have to necessarily make the throw because it's a play call. Duggar's right there.
He just like predetermined, like, I don't care about this dude's alignment. I don't care where we're at. I'm throwing it right here. Yeah.
But all of a sudden, second half, it looks like the Patriots game, and then Raiders come back. Now, they did get a lucky call go their way.
They did.
In the end zone, and also they had Jacoby Myers just...
They did that, and the crazy part was the irony of it all. They were low key trying to run it out to just get to overtime.
Yep.
And Ramondre set it off. He set it all in motion. I just, why? There's nothing about that play that says, hey, let me throw this ball to Jacoby. If that was 2 plays before, I get it. You trying something. If that was 1 play before, I still get it. Because they took 3 shots before they really tried to just give up. And then it was like, they just gave up. But instead of giving up all the way, it's like, oh, no, you take the ball. Oh, no, you take it. And I'm just like, yo, this is nuts.
They actually started off 2-7, even worse.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2-6. 2-7, and they've won 4 of their last 5.
No.
Two of them in overtime, one of them almost overtime. So almost 3 overtime games of their last 5.
Craziness, bro. It's craziness.
But 4 of their last 5, and they're not giving up. Although, goddamn, I forgot about this one. The week before this Patriots game, the Rams.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, bro.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, man. This is a very unique team that we're going to be facing. Hey, bro. I'm like, are y'all good or are y'all trash? They fall in that line sometimes, bro.
They still fought with the Rams. It's just there's
exactly.
some bad execution. There's some bad things that happened down the stretch. You let Baker Mayfield go 90 yards.
Yeah.
But this probably goes hand in hand with some of my dislikes because there's some things about their defense I really don't like.
Oh, absolutely. So I know we told y'all to drop some of your likes in there. Make sure you drop your dislikes as well. All right, and we will get to those also. But tap in, get our dislikes on the front side of this thing as well. Just figured, since we got the call coming up. But the first thing that I don't like is their pass protection. To me, it's just not consistent enough. At times, I feel like Derek Carr has a lot of time, and he can sit back there and go through his progression and stuff like that. But then at other times, it's just like, this guy's under duress. And then when I look at just the overall health. Now, granted, Dylan Parham, I think he's the 3rd rounder out of Memphis, if I remember correctly. Out of Memphis. He got hurt early in the game last week against the Patriots, and they had to bring in a substitute. And this dude, I forgot his name. He's like Jordan Meredith. That's the guy's name. To me, it's just the consistency. It really is a significant drop off right now with that group at times, man. So, I'm just not a fan of their pass protection, and I think we should be able to take advantage of it, especially at the tackles position. So that's the first thing.
So for me, I'm just going to go off what I was just saying about how they have fight and stuff. Yeah. The opposite is they also choke games away at an amazing clip.
This is very true.
They are 0-4 when leading by double digits at halftime this year.
Craziest that ever.
Probably Should have been.
Crazy stat.
I can't say 0-5 because if the game goes to overtime last week, you don't know what happens between Patriots Raiders.
But
you don't know who
but
wins.
if they don't classify that as a catch in the back of the end zone, we
That's
don't
true,
even
too.
know if they're in that position yet. So it's a lot that goes with that. Yeah.
Exactly. All the other NFL teams right now are 59-6. You saw it on display against the Patriots.
Yeah.
You saw it in terrible fashion against the Rams, a Rams team that's god-awful this year. They don't even have Aaron Donald out there. They got Baker Mayfield basically coming off the flight and starting for them, is able to string together a game-winning drive. It's just ridiculous.
It's nuts.
So that is – it's weird to say. This team has fight. I feel like they got some mental toughness. They got some grittiness to them. But then they also just have this lethargic – lackadaisicalness to them coming out of halftime because they're one of the worst teams in the league.
Third quarter's
quarter
horrible.
Points.
Horrible.
But then you go to the fourth quarter, they're like one of the top 10 teams. So this is where it kind of all makes sense. But I don't know why this is the case. Is it maybe because they have a new coach in Josh McDaniels? He's not the best at adjustments just yet. They've been dealing with the health issues on the offensive line. They've also had the injuries to Renfro and Waller. Some weird stuff happening on defense, injuries, cutting guys. So I don't know what the reason is for all this, but this is who the Raiders have been this year.
Now, without a doubt, man, without a doubt. I'll tell you partly the reason to that. This is with my second thing. Well, actually, it was my third, but I just jumped to it because of what you said. They have a lot of self-inflicted issues. And what I'm speaking on, and this is what happens a lot to them in the third quarter, turnovers, and they become very undisciplined in terms of their assignments defensively. Watching them in multiple games, you can just see how some of the comebacks start to happen. The pick six, like you said, to Kyle Duggar, it's like, why are you throwing that at that spot of the field? Like, I don't care if that's the call or not. It just looked telegraphed. It wasn't a good decision. And that resulted not just in a turnover, but in points. It was a pick six. Talk about gap discipline. Man, the second half, they could not stop Ramondre Stevenson. Not because Ramondre was running people over, because they kept hopping in and out of their gaps. It was too many times where you got two guys in the same hole, and that is not acceptable on regular TV, okay? So with that, man, it's just one of them things where, yeah, you got to be more disciplined, more buttoned up. Very similar to when we talked about us against the Ravens. And it was like, man, a lot of self-inflicted stuff. The interceptions, we caused that. Some of the long explosive runs, we caused that. They have a lot of that on their tape. And I guess it's no surprise, but it is surprising. But a lot of it happens in the third quarter. That's when a lot of the bad starts to come about. And I do partly feel like it's because they do go in the locker room with such significant leads, double-digit leads and a half. They feel confident. So naturally, the human nature is to do what? Take a deep breath. You sigh. You relax. You let your guard down. Whereas in the opposing team's locker room, they're getting chewed out. They're making rapid adjustments saying, hey, we got to come out here fast. We got to start fast, get a touchdown first possession. We got to get a stop first possession to get us back into this thing. And you could just see the difference in intensity. Teams come out of that locker room versus this Raiders team, and they're a lot more amped up. Whereas that Raiders team, they come out very confident but almost arrogant, to the point where they don't have to have that same level of discipline. And then once they get smacked around and the teams come back, then like Deke said, that fourth quarter, now they wake up, now they fight, and it's just a coin flip if they have enough time to rectify their mistakes or not. But to me, I think that's a big reason why they've been giving up the leads that they've been giving up in some of those games.
Okay, for me, I don't like their interior on the front seven.
Ain't that the truth?
Not a fan. Well, listen, this Billings dude ain't bad.
I like Pearman. I like him.
Right, he's a Pro Bowler last year. But, like, if he's, honestly, and this is something I just really don't like about their whole defense, he's probably, like, your third best player. If he's your third best player.
That is not good.
I don't know if that's the best thing. It's no disrespect to him, but.
I'm with you.
They got Billings and Nichols as their defensive tackles, which are fine. They've made some plays this year. Like, Billings is having a decent season. But then their linebackers and Luke Masterson, Perryman being your top guy, and then Darian Butler.
Perryman's a good physical linebacker, but he's still limited when you're talking about the ranginess or the coverage stuff. Like, he's a good player, but that's a different – if that's the top of your linebacking core, I do feel like it limits you a lot more than some of these other tandems that we speak on.
Now, it's not all their fault because they did have Divine Diablo and Jayon Brown. They're on IR. Yeah. So that's going to hurt
Well, they got the young boy from TCU. Morig.
Right.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
we
actually
like him,
put
bro.
him in that mix
Yeah,
of
we
like
like him.
probably a top 4 or 5 defender
This is
for this team.
second year for him, right? Yeah, second year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Raiders, in general, if you look at throughout this season, they're
Mhm.
not really good against the run. They're
Yeah.
like average to below average.
Mhm.
And you could just look at last game where they give up a ton
Yeah.
on the ground to Stevenson. But then you could look at some other games where they go up
Exactly.
against the Chargers, against the Seahawks, and they're able to stop the run.
Because then their gap sound, it makes it's mind-boggling at times to see them be so, like, it's so drastic. And that's if it was like mid-tier one way or the other, I don't think it would be as surprising. But they literally go from, they look like perfect against an element of a Russian attack, and then look like they don't know how to line up against it at times. So yeah, it is craziness. And then also to go with their self-inflicted wounds, but yeah, I just feel like they don't make a lot of good decisions at times, man. Just like when I watch them, it's like, why are you doing this? You don't need to do that right there.
A good example
like,
of that is they are
I don't know, bro.
they are pretty low in rushing attempts across the league, but like their rushing totals or the rushing yard totals are like kind of above average, and that's all. It's just straight up Josh Jacobs. They don't really have anyone else running the ball, so that's why it's their team rushing yard totals aren't as gaudy as maybe some other teams. But he's having a really good year. So like to your point, why don't you just attempt more with Josh Jacobs and get your rushing yards up?
Watching it's like, I just feel like you just want to get these attempts up. You want to just get this ball in the air, because sometimes I'm looking, I'm like,
just because you can,
like
just because
seriously,
you do have a guy like Derek Carr.
I'm just like, yo. What is
get a little greedy.
I was like, what was the point of this call? Like, just so he could throw it, just so he could throw it? Like, you don't need to just call the pass play every time just to call the pass play. But at times when I watch them, I feel like they just call it just because it's like, yo, we got Carr, we got Adams, we got Waller, we got Renfro. Oh, yeah, just throw it. I'm like, bro, Josh Jacobs is running this rock, and they can't they can't beat the protection up front. Like, these guys are getting movement up here in the blocking game. Like, yo, hand the ball off to this dude. They don't do it. I don't know why, but that's definitely one of the things. And then the third and final thing that I don't like about this team is their secondary. I think they have some talented players in terms of athletic ability. Trevor Morig definitely like him. Rockison, obviously we talked about him in terms of just the athletic ability, but the consistency is really not there. Like, it's times where they look like they can guard one-on-one, then it's times where I'm watching Jacoby Myers and company, and I'm like, bro, y'all really frying these dudes over here. Like, y'all all right. Y'all ain't like that, though. Wait a minute. But that goes also to just how inconsistent and how this team can self-sabotage at times, man. Blown coverages, that will happen. They play a lot of cover 3. So when you talk about the zone concepts or the zone beaters, I think that our receivers should have a field day against this, because our receivers, and specifically our quarterbacks, Kenny and Mitch, they play some of their best ball versus cover 3. And this team, they'll do that. Then they obviously got the cover 1 and stuff like that, but I just don't feel like they detail their work to the level that they need to on the back end. When they talk about communicating passing routes, when they talk about some of the pre-snap disguises, it's just not to where it should be, in my opinion. And like I said, I'm just not a fan of that secondary. So yeah.
Agreed. They're one of the worst secondaries and pass defenses in the league right now. Yeah. But to add to that, this will be my third one. No splash on defense. No
0
turnovers. They're basically last in the league.
They turn the ball over on offense, and they don't create turnovers on defense. I think they're -3 on the season in the turnover margin. For references, we are at 0 turnover margin on the season. That means we're completely balanced. The amount of turnover that we've given up, we've been able to get that same amount. Whereas for the Raiders, they've given it up at least 3 more times, and they've been able to get it back. More importantly, it's the interceptions. I think that Carr has like 11 picks on the season. Yeah, he's 11 on the season. They don't fumble as often, but Carr, like you said, man, because at times they just want him to throw it, he will throw it to you. Now, it's not crazy, but he'll do it. I think right now in the season, 2-1 right now? This is 23 touchdowns to 11 picks? Yeah, so.
Yeah, he's still, I wouldn't
still
blame
good,
it on
though.
Carr.
Yeah,
I think he's having a pretty decent season. Right. They got some other problems, particularly this defense.
Right. But it's just a compound. Think about it in the sense of, like we talked about,
it's just
with
bad
Mitch,
timing.
Right?
It's not winning football. It's not a good combination.
They're not to the stage where they can turn it over and it doesn't matter. like I think it was what was that when you brought up the Bills and you were like, man, they could turn it over. You like you could see like they don't care about it to that extent. Yeah, that Raiders team, they can't do that. When they turn it over, it matters. It hurts them a lot. So
yeah, momentum starts to shift and everything.
And I'll tell you this from firsthand experience, man. When you're part of a team that has given up leads multiple times, man, you start to think of the boogeyman every once in a while. And all it takes is stuff like that. A fumble here, a pick there, a turnover, something bad that happens in the third quarter. And you're like, oh, is it happening again? And because it's happened how many times this season, you start thinking like that. So that is also one of the things for us.
Hopefully that Chandler Jones play isn't one that gets them thinking, oh,
it's crazy,
we'll get a break or two now.
It's crazy.
We can believe something right's going to happen down the stretch.
I still
hopefully
can't believe they got out of that thing,
flip
bro.
the switch for them.
I still can't believe they got out of that thing. But yeah, so you finished up your likes and dislikes. I finished up mine. So let's see what the chat have for their likes and their dislikes. And after that, we will call T in about 2 minutes. All right, sound good? Sound good.
Works for me.
All right. So let me scroll on up. Oh, I'm already seeing some likes right now. Damon Brown, he says, Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, and Derek Carr. Jesse Miller, he says, them uniforms, the colors are so hard. Absolutely. Absolutely. Todd Sikowski says, Devontae Adams, the uniforms, and Max Crosby. I'm seeing a lot of Crosby, Adams. I see Jacobs in here. Shout out to Damon Brown. Yeah, got it. Damon Brown and Brandon Clark both shout out Josh Jacobs in the rushing attack. Okay. I like it. Now, I'm just going to sidebar right here. My man Jacob Malicio, he just shouting out me. Most, you know what I'm saying, got the lumberjack, the red and black lumberjack with the hat that matches the Biggie Smalls lyric and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I try to be a little fly with the little, you know. I thought of you a little bit, Deke. Because you're a flannel guy. You know, I do like flannel. I was like, it's my first flannel appearance on the show. Shout out to you.
First one.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a flannel guy. I thought of you and I thought of Wifey because Wifey's like, she's always into the flannels. So I was like, you know, let's flannel it up. Yeah.
It's a great piece to add to your wardrobe.
I'm working on it. I'm getting hip to it. I put the kids in the flannels. I see the flannel game. Like I said, you're a big flannel guy, man. So I peep it. But, nice. You know, but shout out to y'all for recognizing, you know.
I got some of these dislikes here.
Oh, let's get them there. One time, Chief Keef. One time. What's up?
He says, dislikes the coach. Chokers, they can't draft.
Yeah, they draft game is absolutely horrendous, bro.
I didn't think of that one.
The draft game is horrendous. It's horrendous, bro. It's horrendous.
Concepts says their inconsistency. 2, their draft fails. And 3, Mark Davis's haircut.
Hey, son. So this haircut is very unique.
Jacob Malesio.
Yeah, it's very unique.
Don't likes. I can't stand them since I seen AB with an Oakland jersey. 2, I don't like the inconsistent play from Carr. 3, I just don't like them. I can't stand how they knocked out Swan.
This is true.
I don't know about the Swan knockout play.
I was just agreeing with it because I'm sure
it happened.
If for the people that was back there, I'm like, if they said it, then it probably happened, man. Probably happened.
And then Malesio, actually, so he's got his likes here. In contrast, he brings up, I like the old school rivalry. So he doesn't like the cheap shots they're taking, but still appreciates the physicality.
Like, I can understand that. I could definitely understand that.
And then says, like the physicality they bring, and love their running back, especially Jacobs.
Man, Jacobs, bro, he be toting that pill.
I didn't think he had
this in him. Where'd he go to college at?
Bama.
So
I honestly didn't think he had this in him.
So there's hope. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's definitely hope.
For sure. How about
because I didn't think he had that the burst. More important, I didn't think he had that in him like that. I knew he had the power and stuff, but the burst has been like surprising to me. So I'm like, you know what?
That's year 3.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what he had in
because year 1 he had the 400 touches.
Yeah, he had like 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards his first year.
Year 2 is when they brought in Drake though.
Yeah, didn't he still have like 800-900 yards?
He played well, but I thought King and Drake definitely like carved out I thought he carved out a little bit of a role there.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. It wasn't the same degree his rookie season. That's kind of why I didn't think he had it in him. I thought he was declining in a way.
Essentially, everybody remember he was potentially a cut bait this offseason. Remember during training camp, they was like he could potentially be released. Yeah, and that was during the time we were looking for number 2 guy. We were like, hey, man, he would be perfect.
Hey, Derrick Henry was a late bloomer too.
Yeah.
Trent Richardson wasn't. If we're just gonna go through Alabama
Mark
running backs.
Ingram.
He was a late bloomer.
There we go.
He was very much a late bloomer.
There we go.
I thought he was a
He
bust
never
first
really
2 or 3
developed
years.
that burst though. He was quick enough though. He I don't know. He
Hey,
was
but it
still
was a
back,
good
though.
compliment
It was a
with
good
him
back.
and Kamara. So
I like his game, bro. I like his game, and I did enjoy like playing against him too. Like he a good dude to go against, man. He a good running back. Not great, but good running back.